Welcome. You're at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we're so delighted that you have welcomed us into your home. Now, we want to hear from you, so send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Well, today we bring to you a beautiful young woman, Kristen Hansen, and she's with Community Relations Advocate for Patients' Rights Action Fund. You could go to the website. It's patientsrightsaction.org.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful organization promoting life, standing against doctor-assisted suicide or encouraging suicide in any way, or euthanasia, I would imagine, would be a part of that. It's because we see, in the United States of America, numerous states already have assisted suicide. In Canada, it's going gangbusters up there, spreading all over the world. And so this organization stands opposed to that. They organize other organizations of like-mindedness who sometimes don't necessarily naturally gravitate towards one. A lot of people that are disability advocates, get this. I'm seeing that they're saying, hey, you're preying on people with disabilities, people at their weakest moment and the weakest time. This is a fantastic, group, but Kristen's story, comes about in her involvement with this is because of her husband, JJ. I think it means James Joseph. I asked before, I'm James Joseph, he's JJ. You can start calling me JJ. So this, her husband was, a Marine, served over in Iraq. He's a fireman. Worked with various candidates, I guess, in New York, political work, just a real contributor to society. And if you see pictures of this guy, I mean, he's just a real beautiful man, big guy. And I don't want to tell her whole story, but comes down with a terminal illness. I'll let her share that at age 33, I believe it is, and winds up passing away. This tough Marine guy, can't happen to anybody, right? And she'll share his story about the great life he lived and the great way he died, and his strong stand against suicide, but also the temptations with it. Right. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are, when you're in that condition, how vulnerable you are. And we had a doctor on the show that helped people in these conditions, and he said then he got something that was determined to be terminal. Right. He said, I melted. Right. I was totally, just kind of there. And so then that's where you start getting open to what people are going to tell you, what you might want to do, how long you're going to live. Right. How they know exactly how long you're going to live, I don't know. Because sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. And I guess that's a part of what we're going to be sharing about. Well, and in this culture of death that we are, as John Paul II phrased it so well in us, is we become fragile, we become vulnerable, and we don't want to be a burden to our family, and this is the most compassionate thing to do. And what does our faith teach us? What does the church teach us? What should we do? Amen. Well, today we're going to just take you into a beautiful journey of an outstanding couple who faced all those issues and did all the right things by God's grace and mercy. It's a religious matter, it's a spiritual matter, but it's a human matter. Yes. It's a human right, that we're all equal. And whether people are believers or non-believers, it should be like, stop recommending to me that I kill myself. What is this about? You don't have to be religious to say, I love my life and I love my family and we're here. So, it's going to be a very special show. Don't go away. There's plenty more to come, and we will be right back.
Welcome back. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and as I promised, we bring to you a beautiful young woman named Kristen Hansen. She's with Community Relations. She's a Community Relations Advocate, and it's Patients' Right Action Fund. You could go to the website. It's patientsrightsaction.org. Well, we welcome you to our show today, and we're happy to have you and to bring you to our family at home. First, I want you to tell our family a little bit about yourself, and then tell us JJ's story.
Well, first off, thank you for having me, Jim and Joy. It's such a pleasure to be here. So I am Community Relations Advocate with the Patients' Rights Action Fund, and I work nationally to oppose the legalization of assisted suicide. And really that journey began 5 years ago when my husband was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And one of the last things he asked of me before he passed, almost 2 years ago now, was that I continue sharing our story. Right. And that's why I'm here. My husband, JJ, you mentioned, he was a Marine Corps War veteran, a volunteer fireman. He worked in public administration for 2 New York governors. Wow. And at 33 years old, out of nowhere, he unexpectedly had a grand mal seizure. We were living the American dream. We had our son, who was 1 at the time, and I remember it was a day that had started out like any other, and then I received a phone call. And it was JJ's number, but when I answered the phone, it was a woman. It was the EMT who was with him. She said that I needed to get to the hospital as fast as I could. And when I got there, they said that everything looked fine. His CAT scan, his tests, they were going to send him home. They didn't know why he had the seizure, but something told me they were missing something. And I pushed for an MRI, and the MRI showed that he had 2 lesions. And they did a biopsy, and we found out that he had the most aggressive brain cancer there is, glioblastoma multiforme. It can double in size every 2 weeks. We were told that it was inoperable because it was located right on his speech center, and they said the risk was too high, that he would lose all ability to speak and understand language if they operated. They said he likely only had 4 months to live. It was a complete shock.
And you have a 1-year-old.
And we had our 1-year-old son. And so in that moment, it's a complete shock, and you try to desperately hold on to hope, even when everything you're hearing is a message of hopelessness. So I remember when the doctor told me 4 months, he said if it had been a less aggressive tumor, maybe we would have gotten 3 years. And in that moment, everything went quiet except for the pounding of my heart and the voice in my head saying, why? Why not 3 years? In that moment, 3 years felt like an eternity. And I just knew that I had to hold on to hope for JJ and do everything I could to help him have the longest that he could here with us and with James to make those important memories.
And how were his spirits as he was hearing this?
So JJ was...
So you're saying, you got to hold on to hope. How was he?
So JJ was a fighter. He was optimistic. I mean, he had a wonderful attitude, and he always did.
I saw that in some of the pictures. You know, he's always got the thumbs up, and he's there. He's got all these bandages on. He's like, you know.
And when he was diagnosed, that didn't change. He inspired all of us to have hope and have courage. But there were moments in the journey where I had to advocate for him because he couldn't, because it was brain cancer, and we were fortunate that we were able to get second, third opinions. We found a doctor who was willing to do the surgery, and the surgery went well. We thought they had removed the 2 tumors. They found a third while they were in there, and he was recovering beautifully, but then he started to decline. On the 3rd day in the hospital, he got to the point where they would ask him his name, and he just shook his head. He couldn't understand anything anymore. And after another day or 2, they looked at me and they said, if he doesn't change by tomorrow, we're going to have to send him home because there's nothing else that we can do for him here. And I just, again, felt that they were missing something. There was something going on. So they eventually, I convinced them to do an EEG, and they found out he was having seizures. He ended up having 9 more seizures over the next 24 hours. And at that point, he couldn't talk, walk, read, or write. It was terrifying. We didn't know if he would recover, what would happen. And so in those moments, it was my love for him that gave me the courage to question the doctors and to advocate for him.
Yes. I'm thinking, you know, Joy's a cancer survivor, and not to say our situation was exactly the same, but I was always, you know, there with her, and different doctors would come in, and this one doctor finally came in and said, are you a doctor? So I said, yeah, I'm her doctor. I said, I'm married to her for 40 years.
But that's the advocate you have to be.
Absolutely.
That's a part of this deal with, what you're resisting regarding assisted suicide or suggestions in this way. You ordered, in other words, has to be done.
Right.
Said, let's, who's going to do that?
No. So that was one of the many reasons why along the journey when we saw this being advocated for on TV, we realized this is dangerous. It was 5 months into JJ's journey when he had a very difficult few weeks. He got sick from the treatments and caught a cold that we all had, but he couldn't get out of bed. And we all knew that he was struggling physically, but what he later shared a few weeks later when he was doing better, and we saw the young woman Brittany Maynard on TV who had the same brain cancer as JJ. She was from California, and she made the very different decision to move to Oregon to end her life.
She was all over the world, but JJ wasn't.
No, and so when we saw her on TV, we both looked at each other, and he looked at me with tears in his eyes, and he said, Chris, if I had had those pills on my nightstand a few weeks ago, I might have taken them. And you can't undo that.
Right.
You can't unmake that choice. And we're so grateful that that wasn't legal and that wasn't an option or anything that was being forced or suggested to us, or even just having it there as an option is coercive to a vulnerable patient.
Yes.
So how far in to this process, because he lives for a number of years, was the Brittany Maynard time into his process?
So that was about the 7th or 8th month, after he had had that dark month in the 5th month. And so he realized, one, doctors make mistakes. We, at that point, had learned of other glioblastoma survivors who were living 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and had all been told they only had 6 months or less to live. And two, these laws don't safeguard against patients who are vulnerable to depression taking the pills in a moment of depression. And the thing is, once they take them, we'll never know if they could have gone on to live good years after that.
So, I mean, I don't think the law should be there at all, but within the context of the law, I think what I'm hearing you say is there's no safeguards within it, because maybe you would, if you're saying people have a right to do this in a state, but shouldn't they be of a certain ability to make a good decision? You're saying they're not checking to see if somebody's like depressed.
Right, so the important thing is proponents like to say that there are safeguards in the bills to protect patients that are suffering from depression from taking the medications, but you need to look at the bill language. And the way it's written is that it's whether a patient has capacity or not to make that decision. And if you look at Oregon, which has had it legalized for 20 years, less than 5% of patients are ever referred out for psychological evaluation. And there was a study in 2006 that showed roughly 25% of patients requesting assisted suicide were clinically depressed, and several of them were able to go on and get the medication anyway, because even though they were depressed, the doctors still felt they had the capacity to make that decision.
And you don't. And the family members don't. I mean, it's an exhausting journey, as you know.
Well, keep taking us through the journey. So we're only at 7 months. And it's nice to say only at 7 months, because he was supposed to be gone at 4 months. So we have 7 tough months. But
Right, so at that point, JJ looked at me and he said, we need to share our story. We need to give other patients hope, because we knew in the beginning how desperately we needed hope, and we wanted to help other people have hope. And so JJ, not being one to sit on the sidelines, started reaching out to find out how he could share his story. And that was when we became connected with the Patients' Rights Action Fund, and they came to our home and they filmed a video of us, JJ sharing his story, and that was when we first became involved in the issue. JJ ended up going into remission, and when he was off all treatment, they came back and asked him if he would become the president of the Patients' Rights Action Fund.
grief.
Wow. I did read it, like I couldn't believe it. But
That's an
wow.
amazing story. That's amazing.
And it gave so much meaning and purpose to the struggle that we had been going through. And JJ just, his story was perfectly illustrated the dangers of assisted suicide. And so that's what he did in his final days. He dedicated his final days, his last few years, to traveling nationally to share his story and making patients and the medical community aware, and our legislators aware of why this is such a dangerous public policy.
Yeah, that's
Because you're in New York.
Right.
Right? And so what are the laws saying in New York?
So there are bills proposed in New York. It has not been legalized in New York. So there are many states across the country since Brittany's story that have put forward legislation. And so the Patients' Rights Action Fund, we have our website, and viewers can go on there and they can see if their state currently has legislation that's being considered. And then we have a resource where you can connect with your legislators and share why this is dangerous and why you're opposed. And really, that's the most important thing. The legislators need to hear from their constituents that they're against this and why it's dangerous. In the states that have passed it, it's been very close. New Jersey had passed it recently by 1 vote.
Yes.
And so it's really, really important that everyone advocate and share their opposition.
Can you walk us through the remainder of the story with your husband? You have a son, and what took place over the 3-year period?
So our older son, James, he was 1 at the time that JJ was diagnosed, and we treasured every moment that we had together, and JJ's motto became every day is a gift. And that was really what this journey taught us, that we're so grateful for, and I still try to live that to this day with the boys. All any of us have is today. And we need to make the most of each and every day, and so that's what we did. We spent as much time together as a family as we could, and we tried to love one another, love our community, love our family, and share hope. And it was during that time that we allowed ourselves to dream of having another child. And after a year of trying, JJ, sadly, his cancer had come back. So in October of 2016, we found out the cancer was back, and we were exploring other options, clinical trials, and we found one, an immunotherapy trial, but we had to sign saying that we wouldn't get pregnant because they didn't know if it would harm the baby if we were to get pregnant. Well, a week after JJ started the trial, I found out we were pregnant. We had gotten pregnant before he started the trial.
That's a miracle.
And now I have our miracle baby Lucas, who just turned 2 in July. So
That's incredible.
So now you're being pregnant. Your husband is still going through this journey.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How are the both of you hanging on to hope and not becoming hopeless and depressed?
It's really what helped us was focusing on one day. And sometimes I had a friend who said, Chris, just do one day, 1 minute, 1 moment. And really, if you broke it down to that simple attitude of, I just have to do right now. Let's do right now the best that we can. And the joy that Lucas brought us in those final months, I mean, there's nothing better than baby love. It's the best medicine that there is.
It is.
Well, thank you so much for beginning this process, and we're going to take a break, and I'm going to hold you over so that we can share a little bit more. It's patientsrightsaction.org. Sometimes you got to take it just the day, just the hour, just the minute. For your sake, for the one you love, give us this day our daily bread. Just enough for this day, Lord. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Please don't go away. Kristen, we have a few minutes left, so any direction you want to take this, continuing the journey with you and JJ, or after his passing, or anything you want to speak to our people listening today, especially those that are facing for themselves or for loved ones a terminal diagnosis, just any way you want to take it.
I think that if I could send any message to viewers watching today, JJ and I believe that if we could give even just one person hope, then it would make our journey worthwhile. And having traveled this journey with JJ from the beginning until his final breath, I I would just encourage anyone who's struggling right now with a terminal illness or whatever it is that you're going through to hold on to hope. And even if that hope is just the hope to be able to get through that day.
Right.
But especially for patients who are struggling to hold on to hope when they receive that grim prognosis, I encourage you to be an advocate. And if it's your loved one, advocate for them. Question, get second and third opinions, because I have seen time and time again what difference that makes in a patient's treatment outcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know when you got that diagnosis in that day and you're hearing that, I'm sure you felt like you were just like, you got hit with a tsunami.
Yeah, it's interesting
like,
you say she got the diagnosis. It's his diagnosis.
No, but
you
no,
take-
no,
it-
no.
it's
Her hit too, right? Because it's like
yeah.
your whole world
Right.
changes.
That's
Well,
right.
it's interesting you say that, because it was actually the physician's assistant, the surgeon's assistant was the one who told me the prognosis. And when JJ was in recovery and I first went to see him, he was in tremendous spirits and looked at me and he said, "How did it go?" And I realized he had
didn't
no
know.
idea.
Yeah.
And I was the one who had to tell
I
him.
understand. Been there, well, not quite where you were with Joy's diagnosis, and so after we went through this, and he said to her, "You have 40% chance of survival," which is better than your husband
so
had.
scary.
But then we went through this. He said all this. Then we went home. Then after a day or two, she said, "What did he say to me?" And I said, "She didn't hear this." I said,
Because you don't. I mean,
Right.
you hear it, but you don't hear it.
I
You
said,
know,
"Baby, this is what they."
it's like bring this
this
to
is-
another level in my soul, hon. You know.
What they said. But you know, I said to Joy at that point, and that's with JJ or whoever, I mean, how could this guy, 33 years old, ever going to this happen to him? But it's kind of like, there's a question mark over everybody's head. And that's why I said to Joy, I said, "Baby, there's a question mark over my head, even children's heads. Yours just showed up today." And so she said, "Well, I don't feel like I'm going to die, but it's up to God, whatever happens, and I'm coming into Him. Let's see what He says, And so you had 3 more years than 4 months, and you have a child.
gift.
I mean, like that's.
And I often reflect on those 3.5 years that we were given together, and as difficult as this journey has been, I'm filled with overwhelming gratitude for that time that we had together. Because when I look back, I see if anything had happened differently at the points where if I hadn't questioned the doctors, we may not have had that time together. And to me, that would have been even more tragic.
Well, thank you so much. It's
you.
a great privilege. We're going to continue this conversation and more about your advocacy work on behalf of
Thank
life and resisting assisted suicide, personally suggested and in law. It's a great work that God's called you to. Pray that this time has been meaningful for you. What a blessed woman. It's only about 2 years out since her husband's passed away. But she wants to be a voice for those who don't have a voice, and for the weak and for the helpless, even as our Lord was a voice for the voiceless and for the helpless. It's a great faith that we have, the sanctity and dignity of the human being at every stage and phase of life, and the promise of life everlasting, that we can see our loved ones again. Keep it on EWTN. You're an important part of this family. You're always at home with Jim and with Joy. Bye now.